In the world of comics, there are two unspoken rules. Number 1, the status quo must be maintained. And number 2, no character is off limits. Giving enough time, someone eventually is going to write a story using any pre-established character. And today, I'm gonna give you a perfect example of these two rules being implemented. Because today, I'm gonna tell you the story of that one time Thanos defeated the one above all. Yes, the omnipotent god from Marvel Comics. How did he do it? Well, this happens in a book called Thanos, the Infinity Ending. That is the last book in a 3-part series. Don't take this video as a summary of the 3 books, because the whole thing is kinda long, and I'm skimming on a lot of details. With that said, around the year 4600, Thanos has gained ultimate power. He then decides to travel back in time to make sure that his past self also gains ultimate power. How exactly? By gaining access to an object called the Astral Regulator. You see, every story in Marvel Comics takes place in an infinite multiverse. And in this multiverse, for every action that is taken, there is a universe where that action did not happen. So for example, if I were to touch my nose, there will be a universe where that action did not happen. And it works like that for every action that is possible. Understandably, a system like that could turn really chaotic really quickly. So to prevent any chaos, the one above all created an artifact called the Astral Regulator. As the name implies, these regulators regulate each universe to make sure that they work the way they are supposed to. And there is one regulator in every single universe. However, all regulators are linked to each other, so if you were to have access to one regulator, you would have access to all regulators and by extension, the entire multiverse. But acquiring an astral regulator should be impossible. The Living Tribunal states that beings like Galactus or Eternity would be destroyed if they were to get close to an astral regulator. So how is Thanos supposed to get one? Well, according to the story, Thanos has died so many times that now he is beyond death. And somehow this helps him to not immediately die when he gets in contact with the regulator. He turns into a weird skeleton when he gets close to it, but he then regenerates just fine. But this really doesn't make sense when you think about it, because Eternity should be beyond death, just like by default. And also everyone in Marvel has died like a bajillion times, so in theory anyone around Thanos' power levels should be capable of acquiring one of these regulators. Plot holes aside, the point is that Thanos acquires an astral regulator and then he uses it to merge himself with every single cosmic entity. Meanwhile, as Thanos is doing this, the one above all calls the Living Tribunal and he's like, listen, so Thanos is fucking shit up and I can't do anything about it. And the Living Tribunal is like, you what? I thought you were God. And the one above all is like, full disclosure, I am, but inside of my little system. And now Thanos is outside of my system, so I can't do anything about it. Which is kind of like playing Skyrim on PC with console commands. Yeah, you might look like a god, but you really are not. 1 year after acquiring the regulator, Thanos has absorbed around 8 cosmic entities. And then, about 150 years later, Thanos has absorbed every single cosmic entity except for the Living Tribunal and the one above all. And then, after all cosmic entities are gone, the Living Tribunal and the one above all finally decide to step in and they fight Thanos. However, they lose, Thanos absorbs them, and then the Thanos from the future and the Thanos from the present merge into one, becoming one with everything. And then it is revealed why the Thanos from the future did all of this. His ultimate goal was to gain omnipotent power so he could destroy everything. Because after living for thousands of years, Thanos has reached the conclusion that life kinda sucks and then you die. So he's going to use his omnipotent power to explode, killing himself and destroying the entire multiverse. Obviously, Thanos from the present doesn't want to die, so the two consciousness struggle for control of this all-powerful body. Finally, during a brief moment, Adam Warlock manages to distract the Thanos from the future. Thanos from the present uses the opportunity to take control over his all-powerful body and uses his omnipotence to reset the universe. And thus, the status quo has been maintained. The end. So, is this story canon? Who's to say? Only time will tell. But as it stands right now at the moment of me making this video, the one above all is no longer omnipotent, nor is he the most powerful entity in his universe. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.